Okay, this is part two. Part one, it was just cut off and I didn't even get a warning. But at any rate, on part one, we went over one. First step was to be mindful of the kind of music that we surround ourselves. So the calmer and the more peaceful the music is, like Zen or binaural beats when we sleep. When we sleep. As a matter of fact, I want to touch a little bit more on affirmations because that is the fourth step. There are some really good YouTube videos that have like a hypnosis type of hypnosis of affirmations of I am. So that was number one. The second thing, it was, I forgot what the second thing was. Well, the third, I'll have to go back, but the third one was to look at the situation head on by educating ourselves. Whatever is holding down to that fear. Oh, I remember. The second part is that you need to learn how to speak to yourself like in a third person, so you can start rewiring your brain. Catch yourself right before you're going to be sinking into anxiety or depression or whatever the situation is. You need to catch yourself and start asking immediately questions. Why are you feeling this way? What are you doing? Etc., etc. And I remember. And the third was to educate ourselves. Whatever it is that we fear, we need to dig deep in there, look into it, but with a good intent, not to get worse. It is with a good intent to always vibrate higher and more positive. Okay, so now with the continuation on this video, the fourth step to do, it has to do with our thoughts, our thought process, and which it includes repeating positive affirmations with you. When a person suffers anxiety or a person suffers XYZ and I'm talking to them, I notice, that they keep repeating that to themselves. I am so depressed, I have so many anxieties, I have this, I am that, I am, and I am, and I am. When we see those inspirational texts or memes, that the power of affirmations and the thought process, they are very, very, very true, especially when it comes to anxiety. The more that we repeat that, the worse it's going to get. Imagine a person that's a pessimist, that doesn't have a lot of, that doesn't have a high self-esteem, and he just considers himself a dumb person because whenever he was small or young, unfortunately probably had parents that would constantly be telling him that, belittling them, because we need to face it. Not all of us had the perfect family. Not all of us had this picket white fence. There is a lot of us that are walking around, broken, if you will. So these things continue with us. So a person that keeps saying, "Oh my God, I'm just a brute. I'm so dumb. Now I don't have any ideas. I am not the kind of person." That becomes part of the person, and the person registers it in their subconscious that when an opportunity comes knocking in the door, that energy of self-hurt that they've been telling themselves time after time after time is the first one that's going to kick in. You're going to automatically block your mind. That's why it's very important to have positive affirmations, even if you don't feel them right then and there. The purpose is that how many years have you been, let's put a quote unquote, suffering with anxiety? Has it been years, or did they just start last week? If it's been years, then you need to give yourself that mindset that these affirmations, this rewiring that you're going to start doing, is not going to change you in a week. You do need to do these every single day. And it could take, it's not going to take years. Just like for years you've been dragging this negative energy within you, it's going to take a lot less. I can guarantee you this, because the mind is a beautiful thing. The mind is a beautiful thing. So one of the things that you have to tell yourself is the I am of whatever you are suffering, the opposite. If you suffer from anxiety, you need to just give yourself affirmations of, I am peaceful. My mind is at peace. My mind can assess problems in a calm misdemeanor. I am calm. I am peaceful. You have to repeat these phrases, these affirmations, day after day after day. Are you going to be saying it out loud while you're walking in the mall or at work? Well, no, because people around you, they're going to start looking at you, and we know how that goes. It is at an individual level. If you want to heal, you need to start talking to yourself like in a third person, and that is your higher self, your higher conscious self. The subconscious, I believe I think it was like 10,000 times smarter than us and stronger than us. But ironically, our current reality, how we perceive things, controls it, is the one that gives the last word. So your higher self could be banging itself, and that conscience that you're doing wrong, that's not the way to do it. Why are you bashing yourself? Why are you like this? Why are you so negative? Why this and why that? That higher self, even though it recognizes it, even though it's aware of your faults, meaning your higher self, you're aware of your faults. It takes your conscious reality, because that's the one that's in charge, to make the change. If you feel sorry for yourself and you start putting it the other way around, like, no, that's the way I was born. I've always been like this. Look at my mom, the way she is. She was also like that. If you start bashing yourself like that, your higher self there's just so much that can do. These beings that you would want to pray to, like your spirit guides, your guardian angels, to God, it's so much that they can do for us. Why? Because we are all born with free will. We cannot ask God to tomorrow morning to wake you up as a strong, confident person. That ain't gonna happen, because we have that free will. It's like those people that you cannot force them to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. You cannot force them or put them in these drug rehabs. Yes, they'll probably do some change. But once they go out, what happens? Their conscious reality, the one that has the free will, that one comes back. Why? Because it hasn't done the first steps that I've mentioned. It hasn't criticized itself. It hasn't analyzed himself. The only person that can change you is you. Let me repeat that. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care what or how wise your mom is, or your therapist is. Nobody can change you but you. When somebody changes, when they turns around and looks at a child and they do a 360 change in their lifestyle, it's not because that child changed him. It's because this person looked at that child and slowly said, is that how I want my son to see me, or my daughter, when they get older? Do I want them to be proud of me? You see, that person is already talking in a third perspective. It's their subconscious that they're listening to. And that's why from their heart, they start making that change. But it's not because that daughter or that son just started pleading and pleading, please change, please change. Because we all know, we are all adults. We all know nobody's going to change us but ourselves. That's where that self-love comes in play. And I'll also do another video on that, on how to create that self-love in us, no matter what our life, our past life has been. It doesn't matter. But I'll do a video on that. It doesn't matter. So right now, what you have to understand are those affirmations that you do. That word, I am, is very powerful. Because your higher conscience is in the now. So the minute you say I am, and whatever follows it, it will like trickle down at a DNA level all the way down into your tissues, your body, everything that encompasses and makes you. And you're either going to feel very proud of yourself, or you're just going to have disgust of yourself, or you're just going to feel sorry for yourself. And it all starts with your thoughts and in your affirmations, because we can have the same person, same woman per se. So let's say there's this woman, there's two women, and the husband left them for a younger model, and they both had kids, and they had to start from scratch. 20 years or 15 years down the road, I can guarantee you that the life of these two women is going to be totally different. Even if the circumstances were identical, the same educational background, financially, everything could be identical. But 10 or 15 years down the road, their output in life will be totally different. Because since we all have that free will, one of them will probably they'll both mourn. They'll go through a phase of crying, of depression, of anger, of anxiety. But then one day, one of them is going to snap and say, I need to be a better role model for my kids. Because what if this happens to my daughter? What if it happens to my son and they leave him? I need to go through this experience and shed this, go through that change like a caterpillar, and from a very dark place turn into a butterfly. I need to experience it on my own so I can give my kids the exact words that they need to hear. So you see, this person can automatically change the way that they see it. They'll see it as, man, this is going to push me to fight a lot of obstacles, either, going back to school, or if not, starting their own business, working a daytime at a regular job, and then at nights do so many things. But this person is doing it with a beautiful intent and mindset. This other person can dwell and just hate on the ex-spouse for leaving her. How dare he? And then every time love knocks on the door, you're going to hold on to that hate and not give it an opportunity. Every time that there's a thought process of starting a new business, if you let the words of an ex-spouse, you're worthless, you'll never amount to anything, if you stick to those, well then opportunity could be knocking on the door of this other person, the pessimist per se, and they will always stay in that stage. And the years will go by. She will not be as happy. She will always be in that victim mindset. And keep in mind, they were both victims. But it all depends on your I am affirmations. Because that I am, the more that you repeat it, I am peaceful, I am strong, I am courageous, I am a warrior. The more that you do that, there's so many documentaries out there by doctors, by scientists, by neurologists, that they've mentioned how it widens our brain, our minds. More neurons are constantly being built, and you will feel more and more enlightened, and enlightened ideas will start popping up, and you will start feeling better. But it all starts with your positive I am affirmations. So if you see yourself saying, I am nothing, I am I'm a pessimist, I just suffer from so much anxiety, nobody will ever want to be with me. If you picture yourself, or you catch yourself speaking ill about yourself, that's where you need to start changing or rewiring that thought process. Because have you guys seen these they're like memes, and also I forgot the word, but phrases that say, for example, that however you perceive the exterior, the world, all the problems, you attract that because it reflects your interior. Let me tell you that to some degree right now, just a little bit, I'll be able to explain to you why it is true. It's true because you can have two people and you can tell them, can you please read this phrase for me, this little story? Both of them are going to read it. Yeah, they're going to read it. And one of them, it's going to say, oh no, this is not true. This is pathetic. How could this cannot happen? Or that's not fair. Yada, 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 yada. This other person can say, well, although it is difficult, the situation, I do feel bad, but I think if this person would have followed their heart, or if they could have just settled down and made some phone calls and clear their mind so they can find a solution, everything would have been okay. Why? It's because these two people, they're negative, or you're going to be positive of everything that crosses your life. Whatever your boss said, whatever your spouse said, whatever your children come to show you, whatever you read in the news, whatever you start seeing in Facebook, just do an auto analysis and realize that everything, if you're a negative person or a pessimist, you're going to realize, oh my God, it is true. Why is it that I see the world as if it's going downhill, that everything is bad, that everybody's out there trying to abuse everybody, and everybody's out there to get everybody? You realize that it is part of your whole life, even everything that you read. On the other hand, when you start doing your I am affirmations and you start meditating and doing all these positive changes, you'll realize that when you start reading things and stories or problems that other people are telling you, you will immediately remember solutions. You will do it in a much calmer state of being. And that's when you have truly found inner peace. Because it starts within us. It starts within us and how we see ourselves. So I'm going to end the video with this about I just mainly wanted to talk about the last step, which was affirmations, and that even if you don't feel them at that time, never ever underestimate the power of them. Start by listening, like hypnosis. I'm gonna try to see if I could link some videos in my Be Thankful for Your Sufferings group in Facebook, and the ones that I've used, and they're also very positive affirmations. So thank you for watching. If you feel that these steps do help at some degree, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share, because we all know that right now, with everything that's going on, we all need to practice different techniques to help us stay focused, rewire our brain, and start thinking positive. Thank you.